What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers are coming off of a tough loss to the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, this wasn't a good loss by any stretch of the imagination. Now, look, I understand that the Lakers were without three starters, and they were without Anthony Davis, which, if you watch my video pregame, I talked about how that is probably going to be a real issue. The Lakers can survive without LeBron James. There's no replacing LeBron. LeBron is an incredible talent. But you can survive and supplement some of what LeBron provides, right? LeBron's out, he's giving you, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, right? Somewhere in that ballpark, right? Well, if you have Reeves go from, 14 points to 22 points, well, there's 8 of those points. And then, you have Rui come in, he gives you 20. It's like, okay, well, you could supplement that. There's, he's giving you, 10, well, there's 10, so now you got 18 the points. Christian Wood, who wasn't even playing, comes in and he gives you 17. There's all the points in LeBron's stature. Same thing, like Rui comes in, he gives you 5 rebounds. Wood gives you 8 rebounds. Okay, well, there's LeBron's rebounds, right? And then you have something like, Rui comes in, gives you 4 assists. Wood gives you 3 assists. And then, somebody else comes in and gives you an assist, right? Okay, well, there's the 8 assists. So you can supplement LeBron for a game or so because the Lakers have plenty of other size. They have other versatile wings. They have the things to weather the storm without LeBron James. They don't have anything to supplement Anthony Davis's impact. LeBron James is their best player, right? You can make an argument when Anthony Davis is playing the way that we know Anthony Davis can play. He's the best player. But more times than not, LeBron James is the best player. Anthony Davis is the most important player. Anthony Davis, it's why I always say, we go as far as Anthony Davis takes us. And I know people, trade AD. It's the silliest thing every time somebody says we need to trade Anthony Davis, it tells me everything I need to know. Because it's just such a silly thing. You can't replace Anthony Davis's impact. Because even when he doesn't score, Anthony Davis could not score a single point the rest of the season. And we would still win more games than we would lose. Because Anthony Davis just impacts the game to such a level on the defensive front, not counting his rebounding. He was one of the league leaders in rebounding. He's one of the league leaders in block shots, right? But it's more so of just what he allows for the Lakers and the mistakes that he makes up for and the impact that he has. We can't, right? When we don't have Anthony Davis, we can't go and extend out to defend the three-point line as hard as we can when we do have AD. Because if we get blown by, we have no rim protection. We have nobody that can protect the paint. Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes are not going to provide that for you, right? When a guy like Max Christie gets blown by, you can trust Anthony Davis is going to make up for that and deflect or at least defer the shot. Right? If you have guys, so like when they're driving into the paint, we don't have to have 3 guys collapse on the guy that's driving, right? You only need 1. So like, for example, you'll see in games when Anthony Davis is in, let's say that, somebody drives into the paint and beats, let's call it Max Christie, right? You'll see Taurean Prince rotate and just cut him off. Then you'll see Max Christie go rotate over to Taurean Prince's player, and then Anthony Davis will be there as a deterrent. So now you either have to shoot over Anthony Davis, which more times than not, he's just going to swat your shot, or you have to pass it, and you're likely passing it to Anthony Davis's guy, but Anthony Davis has the awareness and the foot speed to recover, to go and get back to his guy, to where now there's a broken play on that side. We don't have anybody to do that. Jackson Hayes doesn't have the discipline and the awareness, and Christian Wood doesn't have the foot speed to make up for that ground. So when you don't have Anthony Davis in the game, you just can't replace his impact on the basketball court. And so this is why I talk repeatedly how Anthony Davis is important. The Lakers need a trade. They do. Now, obviously, Anthony Davis is going to play more games than not, or you would hope so, knock on wood. And look, I don't think the Lakers, like I see a lot of people throwing out like big names as far as centers go. I don't think the Lakers need a big name center. Because LeBron James, he can't play any other position than the 4. And Anthony Davis, come playoff time, is going to play 36 minutes, 34 minutes minimum at the center spot. So going and trading for a Nikola Vucevic or something, it doesn't make sense. But a team like the Chicago Bulls have everything that the Lakers need. That's why I think the Lakers really need to hone in and focus on that. Now, you can get what they need through various trades, but I think Chicago has everything rolled into a nice package. So Lakers definitely need a center. Touch on that here in a moment. But the other thing the Lakers need is they need that other consistent go-to scorer. Because, yes, I think that, as I mentioned, you can't replicate Anthony Davis. And let's say we had DeMar DeRozan or Zach Lavine. It's still possible we might have lost this game, but I don't think we would have been blown out, and I think we would have had an opportunity to win this game. And if one of them goes off crazy, then, you win, right? Because either DeMar or Lavine are capable of going off for 50 on any given night. They've done it regularly in their careers, right? So something like that happens, the Lakers could win the game. And if the game's close, LeBron and Lavine or LeBron and DeRozan could probably go get you the W, right? But they need another consistent scorer regardless. Because, yes, Reeves, he can go give you a 20 on any given night, but he has to work for that, right? Unless he's just shooting the lights out, which he's capable of time to time, he has to go work. Can't really shoot over the top. He's not great at just getting to his spot. He has to work to get to his spots. He has to be crafty, kind of finagle his way into the teeth of the defense, and then he's looking to draw contact or whatever. You look at a guy like a DeMar DeRozan, he's been doing the same thing for so long, for so many years. He can shoot over the top. He knows how to get to his spots. He knows how to bump you off. He knows how to just do the things that he needs to do to make it as easy as possible to just drop 30 on your head. Right? And then same thing with a Zach Lavine. Zach Lavine, with his athleticism, can just beat you off the dribble. He's a high flyer. He can get to the rim. He can create contact and get to the foul line, knock down the free throw. He can, run sets to where you're getting them some pick and pops. He can knock down the three ball. It's just the versatility that these two have as far as scoring the basketball just makes everything so much easier. And then when you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the games as well, that just takes so much pressure off of them because, one, now they don't have to score as much. Two, they don't have to work as hard to score. They're capable of just naturally scoring. They're excellent. I mean, they've been doing it their whole career. But the difference is Reeves has to do it one-on-one. LeBron and AD, and especially AD, he has to do it 1-on-3 at times. Right? Or LeBron has to put his head down and just bulldoze his way in. But if you had a guy like a Lavine or a DeMar DeRozan, well, now teams can't double or triple Anthony Davis anymore. Because if you do, and you leave DeMar on an island, he's going to torch that defender. Same thing with the Zach Lavine. He's going to torch that defender. Right? So now it just opens up so much more because now these two guys draw so much attention. And then when, LeBron's out, right? Because one of the big problems is when LeBron goes to the bench, we can't score the basketball. We're terrible. Well, guess what? If you have a Lavine or a DeMar who can generate their own offense and essentially be their own offense and also get looks for others, well, guess what? You're probably not going to have that problem anymore. Or when AD goes to the bench. Or when Darvin Ham likes to rest AD and LeBron at the same time, which I don't hate. I know a lot of people hate it. I don't. Most coaches rest their two stars at the same time. I mean, even Phoenix will rest Devin Booker and Kevin Durant at the same time. The Bucks will rest Giannis and Dame at the same time. It's not uncommon for teams to rest their two stars at the same time, especially when you're trying to manage their minutes. You can't get them out when you want to get them out. So it's okay, we need to give them an extra minute or two of rest. So just sit them at the same. I don't hate it, but it hurts when you don't have somebody like a Lavine or a DeMar. Because if you had a Zach Lavine or DeMar DeRozan, you could rest LeBron and AD more often together because you'd have these two again to go just generate. They could just go get you 20 in that time. Hey, here's your opportunity to just basically take over the game. And they're capable of doing that. It helps in so many different areas, so many different degrees. The other reason I really like the Chicago Bulls is because they have guys like an Andre Drummond, right? He's a center that is familiar with the Lakers. He was a Laker before, and a lot of people seem to forget that like Andre Drummond was really good with us. The only reason the Lakers didn't re-sign Andre Drummond is because he wanted max money, and the Lakers weren't in a position to give that to him. And it just didn't make sense to have all of your money tied up into Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis. Because Andre Drummond he averaged a double-double with us with like a third of the season left. And and people forget, if Anthony Davis doesn't get hurt, the Lakers probably win the championship that year. So Andre Drummond was fine. And even he talked about in a camp, so I have a video over on As It Stands Lakers, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with me from. I have a YouTube short where Andre Drummond's talking at a camp, and he basically is not specifically about the Lakers, but just like where he was at that time and how, he thought he was the superstar. He thought he was the guy. He let his ego get in the way, and he had to humble himself, and he had to get humbled in order for that to happen. And since then, he's embraced the role. He's super cheap. Like, even if the Lakers go another way, like let's say they don't go and get, a Zach Lavine or a Demar DeRozan, let's say somebody else becomes available that they like, I still would like them to go get Andre Drummond because he's more reliable, he's more consistent, he's a veteran guy, he's going to give you more production than like a Jackson Hayes, for example. Maybe you could even swap the two because, the Chicago Bulls very likely are going to start a rebuild at some point. So here's a young center that's like 23 that you could use to kind of grow and develop. Maybe that's something they'd be interested in. But regardless, if they could get Andre Drummond, he's one of, if not the best backup centers in the league. So he would be fantastic. He gives you the rebounding, he gives you some defense, gives you some shot blocking, gives you some toughness. He's a guy that, he's had starts for Chicago where he's been amazing, right? And still like that 2010 guy. So I do like the idea of Andre Drummond coming in. He's more disciplined. He can draw contact and get to the foul line. Like, he can do a lot. Just another body to throw at a Jokic or an Embiid or whomever. I like the idea of that. And then on top of that, they have guys like Alex Caruso, and even to a lesser degree, like a Torrey Craig, another veteran 3-and-D style guy. Could you find a way to get Williams? Because they don't seem like super high on Williams. So there's options there with the Lakers and the Chicago Bulls. That's why I think Chicago, they just make the most sense for the Lakers. Because Chicago needs to unload some of these guys to start a rebuild or retooling or whatever. So, even if you just came away with, say you just came away with Andre Drummond and Zach Lavine, I think that solves, 80% of your issues, right? I think another 15% is just effort, right? And the lack thereof. And then another 5% is I think that they need a more consistent either 3-and-D forward that could play the two, or a 3-and-D guard that can just be another point of attack guy, but somebody with some size. That's why I think an Alex Caruso would be great. Or if you could go to Brooklyn and get a Dorian Finney-Smith, I think that would be fantastic. But regardless, I just think Chicago makes so much sense for the Lakers in regards to tradable pieces that the Lakers could desperately use, and they have things that make sense for Chicago. I think it would just be a win-win in many ways for Chicago. But look, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they have shown this year that they are still more than capable of winning an NBA championship. LeBron James especially is playing at an all-time. This is the most efficient he has been since his Miami days. Literally shooting the basketball, his three-point shot, everything. It's like he's turned back the clock. He's been ridiculous. If LeBron was kind of showing signs of that fatigue and father time catching up and stuff, then I'd probably be in the camp of you know what? Just stick with what you got. If you win it, you win it. If you don't, you don't. Because LeBron's probably only got another year or two left. But no, at the rate he's playing, he might have another 5, right? And I just feel like you owe it to LeBron, you owe it to Anthony Davis, these two guys, the way that they are playing right now. I really feel like you owe it to these guys to go get a deal done, to do everything you can to try to win another NBA championship. And you owe it to the Lakers. You owe it to the fan base, right? We're not a team, like the in-season tournament was great. I'm glad we won it. But we are a championship or bust team. It's what we've always been. If we're not competing for championships, what are we competing here for? Right? So let's go do everything we can to win an NBA championship. Don't expect to trade for at least another month, right? Because we can't even really do like a Lavine trade or anything like that until December. Because that's when like D'Lo and stuff like that become available. So we're still like, that's when everybody becomes available. So we're still like a month away before anything happens. So don't expect a deal. I know it's past December 15th, but we still have a ways to go before we can expect any type of like real, like, oh, Lakers are, here's an announcement for a trade. You never know, maybe some minor trade. Because right now we have D'Lo, Gabe Vincent, Taurean Prince, Christian Wood, Cam Reddish, and Jackson Hayes are all available to be traded. So you have about like 35, 36 million in tradable salary. You could go get like a Demar DeRozan if you wanted to, but you wouldn't be able to get like a Zach Lavine. So just something to keep in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think like, yes, the Lakers, Chicago's the answer, go get whatever you can from Chicago? Do you think no? Wait, be patient, see what else becomes available. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. See you all in the next one. Thank you.